I went to my first ever gallery exhibition when I was 10 years old. I've been to many gallery exhibitions since, and yet, half a decade later, the one that stands out the most to me, the most striking, the most tangible, the one that still drifts into my thoughts from time to time, was my first ever experience. Weiwei's Straight at the Royal Academy in London. I want you to look at this installation, record your initial thoughts, reactions, and emotions. Imagine you're there, its body spanning from the end down there to the front, where I stand here. At first glance, the most significant thing may be the scale, but besides that, its meaning is shrouded, a mystery. Even the title Straight refuses to yield, beyond the obvious anyway. And so to you, it may simply be an aesthetic, industrial arrangement, and at first glance, that's what it was to me too. Now, I want you to consider this. What if I told you that this installation was made of 150 tons of steel reinforcing bars, all mangled and twisted from crumbled buildings, each straightened out by hand? What if I told you that these were the product of an earthquake, residue from the shoddy infrastructure of Sichuan schools in China, schools previously housing 5,000 children while they stood, and taking them away as it fell, all victims to the earthquake? Look at Straight again. How has its meaning shifted? For me, Straight evolved into this expression of emotion, truth, injustice, and pain. And when I started thinking about this, I realized a lot of this meaning translated into the name of I's installation itself. What do you think of when I say the word straight? If we interpret straight literally, it has connotations of rigidity, an inability to be forced or bent out of shape. Yet, look at these rods. They're not straight, nor are they rigid. They're all twisted and mangled. They are exactly opposite to everything they are supposed to symbolize. And it is from this juxtaposition that hopelessness arises. For even though these rods were specifically designed for strength and safety, they were ultimately useless in providing this promised protection. There's something else particularly unusual about Straight, even at first glance. The rolling effect across the surface of Straight gives the installation this undulating shape that kind of reminds me of water. The sort of movement you'd observe in waves in the sea, fluid and in motion. But even this acts in contrast to the name Straight, for one wouldn't expect the nature of an installation by this name to be characterized by these rolling curves. This element, however, isn't just an aesthetic one, for it also serves a literal purpose through incorporating features of an earthquake. The fractured repetition of these lines, creating broken ripples across Straight, mirror the fault lines that cause earthquakes themselves. And so, as you can imagine, the public's reaction to this piece was an incredibly poignant one. But amongst these emotions evoked were outcries of rage and anger. Why? Because Straight isn't just a means of communicating the sobering impact of natural disasters. It more importantly conveys a political truth, one that would have otherwise remained buried from the public. You see, when earthquakes do occur, it's rare they take down entire schools and the populations with them. The reason why the Sichuan earthquake differs, lies behind the shoddily built infrastructure of Sichuan schools in China as a result of Chinese governmental corruption. A combination of insufficient steel bars and insufficient concrete resulted in the perfect recipe for disaster. On closer inspection, the buildings were described as flimsy and porous as tofu dregs. Protesting parents were silenced and compensation, if any, was poor. Activists were persecuted, and Weiwei was no exception. In exposing the height of China's corruption for the entire world to see, I saw his Beijing studio trashed, was arrested for so-called economic crimes, and beaten by Chinese officials, resulting in his hospitalization. I, however, is no stranger to such persecution. You see, I isn't just an artist, but also an activist, often integrating the two within his work, a factor that becomes apparent when looking at his previous pieces, such as his 1995 work, dropping a Han Dynasty urn. These 3 photographs, when accompanied with context, summon controversy just like Straight. The public were outraged on learning that the object being destroyed was a $1 million, 2,000-year-old vase, to which I simply replied, "The only way of building a new world is by destroying the old one," in quoting the notorious communist leader Mao Zedong. In other words, I was criticizing the evils of the Chinese communist regime. This motif of responding to Chinese-based issues also connects to Ai's Chinese ethnicity, adding this personal layer to his work that's inextricable from his identity, a factor also present in Straight. This contributes to what makes Straight so powerful. It's as close to the truth as you can get, because by bringing the wreckage to you, unlike words on paper, as many would have read in the news, it would have been a completely different experience for the public seeing it in person. And so Straight acts as this beacon for what art can and should be. Art can be aesthetic, but it can also be a powerful communicator of emotion, truth, injustice, and activism, and can be extended into political realms. Moreover, Straight is important because it unites us on this universal scale through connecting to our humanity. And so, if I never stepped foot into the Royal Academy 7 years ago, if I never went to that first exhibition, I don't think I'd be the artist I am today. It is thanks to Straight that I truly understand what art means, and hopefully you too realize just how versatile and powerful art can be. Thank you.